Okay. Welcome to the Crush Your Sugar Cravings Summit. I'm Michelle Jolly with Healthy Horizons Coaching. Today, we're going to be talking with Maria Emmerich. I have a lot of questions that I know you have a lot of knowledge in all the things health and wellness, especially keto, but a lot of stuff to go over. Hopefully, we'll have some time to do that. So I'll start with a little bio so everybody has a chance to know Maria a little bit. She's a nutritionist who specializes in ketogenic diet and exercise physiology. Her expertise has sent her around the world speaking about ketogenic diets. She is also an international best-selling author of several books, including Quick and Easy Ketogenic Cooking and The 30-Day Ketogenic Cleanse. She has also authored 8 other books, including several cookbooks, 3 nutritional guidebooks, including the best-selling book Keto. Some of her readers include Halle Berry, Valerie Bertinelli, and Al Roker. How exciting! Yeah, and I saw you also have a book, Ketogenics Without the Dairy or something like that.
We have 3 dairy-free books, yep.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. I want to order.
They're not just dairy-free, but they're nut-free too.
Okay, yeah, great. Okay.
Those are the things that hold people back from their success.
Yeah. All right, so let's start. Everybody kind of has a story and it helps people get to know you a little better. So tell us kind of how you got to this place, how you got into health and wellness.
Absolutely. When I was 16 years old, I wasn't feeling well. I was twice my size. And so I went to the family doctor. I didn't even tell my parents I was going. I just went. And I was told I had PCOS. And we now know that that's a form of type 2 diabetes that is affecting female fertility. I also had acid reflux. I had IBS and depression. And so I left that doctor's visits with 3 prescription medications. And the doctor said it was nothing that I was doing wrong. It was just the cards I felt dealt. But at the time, I worked at a coffee shop in Medford, Wisconsin, where I made the scones and the cinnamon rolls and the muffins, and whatever didn't sell that day went home with me. So I was living off of sugar and carbohydrates.
Yeah.
And so I had to make a drastic change, but that's where my love of baking and cooking transformed into this keto lifestyle, because I just cut out all of the sugar and the grains and the carbohydrates, and I still made scones and muffins and cinnamon rolls, just different.
Yeah, nice. So some people, everybody knows sugar isn't good for you, but maybe they aren't to a point where they have chronic illness or joint pain showing up yet. That they know that it's damaging in their body, mind, and spirit. So how do you help them understand that this stuff is going on without them feeling it's going on?
I've been hired to help many clients, like their children or teenagers and stuff. And it's like helping an alcoholic that's not admitting there's a problem. Mm-hmm. So somebody really has to want to change their life in order for it to work. Because we're living in a life where we're bombarded by sugar and processed carbohydrates and honestly, we're talking about sugar, but when you put a cracker in your mouth, even though it's not sweet, once it enters your bloodstream, what does it happen? It turns into sugar. Yeah. So when I say sugar, I also mean carbohydrates, bread, pasta, rice, all of that. And that's what happens when you try to cut sugar. The food pushers come out of the woodwork, and it's a downhill spiral for sure. But somebody really has to, I don't think people really know how good they can feel until they get rid of it. I didn't know how awful I felt. And now I'm 40 and I feel way more energized. I don't drink caffeine whatsoever anymore. And I have more energy than most of the children, the kids that I see. They're even my kids are like, Mom, aren't you tired yet? And I'm like, no, let's go.
Yeah. So true. So personally, are you kind of on the abstinence side? You shouldn't have any sugar, or more moderation camp? Or I know people could be at different levels And what does it look like
You
for
wouldn't
you?
tell an alcoholic to have a drink once a week. So no, I don't say, don't, yeah, get the sugar out of your life. And that's when your palate will change. So you don't crave it so much. But if you're always teasing yourself to have that sugar rush, you're going to have the sugar crash and then you're going to keep craving it. So yeah, just get it out. But like I told you, I have so many, like we made ice cream the other day. We just make it a little different, you know? So we made gummy bears that were like absolutely fantastic. But instead of the 50 grams of sugar per, you know, little pack, we
Yeah.
have 0.
Yeah. That sounds good. Yeah, I try to do a little bit of that. Like like we were talking about ice cream with the maybe even bananas, and well, bananas are still sweet, but the bananas and chocolate kind of soft serve stuff. Or yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so when someone is kind of at the point where they're dealing with the chronic illness and autoimmunity issues, what do you think is kind of the first step? Do we remove the sugar and change the food plan, or sometimes there is an emotional component, depression and everything, past traumas that go along with it? Is it, which do you do first, or all at the same time?
With like chronic illness, you have to get rid of the sugar ASAP, along with, you know, the grains and processed foods that way. But, you know, when you're in chronic pain, like I worked at a nursing home when I was a teenager, and I remember asking my favorite patient, what's the secret to a happy life? And he said, take care of your back. And I was like, is that a metaphor for something? And he's like, no, if you are living in chronic pain, you don't think about anything else. You can't concentrate on your family, your friends. You can't concentrate on your life because that pain is always there. And that's the first thing you're always thinking about. So I mean, I've worked with so many people that were in so much pain, and now they're out gardening for hours and they're feeling great. And they're eating really delicious food, so they don't feel like they're missing out. And that's the thing, like, I know a lot of practitioners could tell you cut out the sugar, but they're not going to tell you what to eat. And that's what my specialty is. I help teach you, okay, what's your favorite food? Okay, I'm going to help you teach you how to make it. You know, if you miss flourless chocolate torte, I'm going to teach you how to make it. So let's get to it. And so you don't feel like you're missing out on anything, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So how do you do like with alcoholics and stuff? Sometimes you might even need to shift a whole new tribe or friends or like that. Is that kind of a component that you like to?
That's what I have a whole communities of support. So when they need, you know, help and support, like I have a whole team of like people that help encourage, because yeah, the food pushers do come out. The sugar pushers do come out. They did to me. My mom made my favorite pie when I cut out sugar, you know, but I'm a stubborn German girl who like found it as a challenge, and it just made me, you know, dig in and want it harder. But having a group of people that are feeling awesome and are on track, that's what you do need. And if it's online, and that's okay for, you know, a while. And then you're going to start feeling so good, the people around you want in. Like it took my husband almost 8 years to come along with me on my journey, but I loved him just the same. I never judged him. I never nagged him.
Yeah.
But soon enough, he was like, I want in on that. So he's like, you don't have to buy me the chips anymore. You don't have to buy me that anymore. And he's, you know, he's loving the food. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. That's good to hear. It actually can work out. What about the kids? I know you have a couple boys. We can kind of, and I think have been able to kind of keep the sugar out of their diet, but some people, as they get to be maybe 5 or 6 and they start going to birthday parties or the school lunches and treats at school, how do you help them? Do you help them see what you're seeing, or do you just kind of let them do that once in a while? How does that work with kids?
So mine are 9 and 10, and they eat the ketogenic diet and they're thriving. They're actually from Ethiopia, and they were not even on the growth charts when they came to into our home when I became their mom. And now they're at the 90th percentile. So
Wow.
you can thrive. Protein is what helps them grow. And when they do, so here, this is what they eat. They love it. They enjoy the food. When they do get bombarded with sugar, one time my son was given a soda because we make our own homemade soda with a soda streamer. And I shouldn't even call it soda because this woman asked if he wanted a soda and he said, yeah, because he thought it was like my soda, right? And so he drank it and he threw up all over the place because his blood sugar just couldn't handle that spike.
Yeah.
Because he's never had it. And he said, Mommy, I never want that again. And, we learn how, I mean, when you feel good, why would you want to feel ill? Especially when you like the food that makes you feel good. And as parents, we are in charge. The first things that my children ate besides breast milk was bone broth, bone marrow, yolks of eggs, not the whites, but the yolks, salmon, pureed beef, things like that. You can change their palate, but if you're giving them, you can now buy chocolate baby formula. If you're giving them that crap, they're going to have sweet tooth. Nothing frustrates me more when I see a 2-year-old eating a French fry. You should not know what a French fry is. And if you have problems with sugar, if you have type 2 diabetes, guess what? It's probably from the vegetable oils in the crackers, in the rice, like the rice cereals. All of these vegetable oils are what's changing your cells so you can no longer handle sugar anymore.
Yeah. Very true. Yeah, I always hate it when I see, like, we have an ice cream shop that's by the bike path that we go by, and there's these little kids in strollers and they're giving them ice cream. I'm like, why are you doing that?
So as parents, you are in charge. So, at 5 and 6, they're not driving to the grocery store. They're eating from your house. And maybe they go to a birthday party and stuff happens. So what? But when you're at home, you can control that. If you're giving them cereal and milk, guess what? They're going to want, sugar all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm not judging. That's what I grew up on. It made me sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. So I guess what other kind of things are kind of going on for you in your world right now? What are you working on these days? Books and retreats? I know you do a little, or speaking?
Some things I can't even talk about. It's so flippin' cool. It's I had to sign a non-disclosure, but it's really cool.
Yeah.
To be able to talk about it in a couple months. But that's really exciting. But I had the opportunity to speak all around the world, Russia, Spain. I'm going back to Spain to speak in Spain, and hopefully in November, we'll see. And I also take a retreat of people to Italy and teach them about keto while we eat the most delicious food in Italy and like get to see all the sights. So that's really exciting. And we're just like with the coronavirus now, we're at home making a lot of YouTube videos to teach people how to cook. And that's the thing, my boys are in the videos with me. So you can see just how simple it is to make, like my protein noodle lasagna. Everybody loves that. It's so simple and easy. And so we teach you how to make really delicious food that kids enjoy too, But thanks for asking. Yeah. As far as books, I'm trying to like slow down a little bit. My kids are now growing up and I feel like I already missed out on so much,
Yeah. Do it now before they get into the teen years and they are off on their own. Yeah. So what about going, because I think there's going to be people from all different levels, so trying to help people meet them where they are.
Yeah.
The people that come here that are watching that might be drinking the 5 or more sugary drinks a day, carb-filled meals, and sugary processed snacks, should they even try this, or is it worth it?
Yeah, absolutely.
How do they start?
Oh man, how do they start? I mean, there's so many good, like, you're lucky now. There's so many good substitutes out there. When I started 23 years ago, I was kind of limited on, different types of, sodas that now we get Zevia soda, or like I told you, we make our own soda. So there's so many things you can do at home to start changing. And maybe, like you said, start with the drinks. Maybe get rid of, don't buy it at the store. If you have it in the house, it's going to call your name in the middle of the night. I know, I was there. The ice cream in the freezer would call my name and I would go to it in the middle of the night. But if it's not in the house, I had a clear mind. And then, like try to substitute some of your favorite things. So like if it's Coke, try to have the Zevia Coke or something like that to try to slowly transition, get rid of some of that sugar. Because if you're always having a sugar spike, it's, if you look at the brain waves, it looks like cocaine in your brain, like some people get upset when you say it's an addiction, but if you look at what's going on, it's exactly like a cocaine addiction.
Yeah. So removing the sugar, I know there's kind of a chemical thing that goes on with addiction. Yep. Will that take care of it, changing your diet, or are there other things you need to work on besides?
Of course there's other pieces of the puzzle, and sometimes there's certain supplements that help with like dopamine and acetylcholine, GABA, all of these different neurotransmitters that help calm down the cravings, calm down that addictive personality. So there's different supplements that you could take that are all natural, so nothing like a drug or anything, but certain things like that help get you into that transition. And then soon enough, like I work with a lot of food addicts, and when we go to a certain level of a diet, and sometimes it's a carnivore lifestyle where you get rid of all of the carbohydrates, they do really, really well. But honestly, if you would have told me at 16, you're going to be a carnivore and you're not going to eat any, like keto treats, I wouldn't even have tried. And so I kind of find where they want to go, and I lead them and I hold their hand through that for sure.
Yeah, that's a good plan. So yeah, speaking of like kind of diet detoxes and stuff like that, do you think that's a good thing, or is it kind of like training people, you're going to be on a diet for a little while and then go back to whatever? What are the detoxes help with?
Well, I definitely like encourage them to see this as a lifestyle, not a diet. But I wrote a book called The 30-Day Ketogenic Cleanse. And I called it that because I wanted you to say, you know what, I can do anything for 30 days. And, I give them meal plans in there. I give them the whole lifestyle of how to change. And just do it for 30 days. A lot of people are like, okay, I can do that for 30 days. But my thing is, okay, after 30 days, you're going to feel so dang good. And you're going to like the food so much, you're not going to want to go back. Yeah. And honestly, most people say that they don't want to ever go back.
Ah, good. Yeah. Yeah, I know I've done a couple cleanses like spring and fall, kind of full body kind of cleanse things. And yeah, it totally changes your palate. And it's like, wow, this food is actually sweet itself, like a bell pepper or something. Oh. Yeah, yeah. So you talked about in your youth, you had a lot of sugar and things that you had in your diet or food plan. And now you look wonderful and you're healthy and everything. So what if somebody's like, well, if I can do it for a while, then I'll just change when things get serious? Or
I'm not sure. What do you mean when things get serious?
Like when things get issues start coming up, can they just say, well, I'm going to just wait on this because I'll be fine. I can deal with this later? Or,
well, I mean, then it's going to be really hard to, like, I'm glad that it happened to me at a younger age, because guess what? It's easier to change your habits when you're younger than when you're older. Now my friends are 40 and they're like, help, Maria, I'm, sick. I don't feel good. I want to lose weight. I mean, talk to anybody. Everybody wants to lose at least 5 pounds. I mean, it's just like every client of mine has some weight they want to lose. The longer you have these habits ingrained in you, the harder it's going to be to change. So why not change now? And it's not that, I mean, my husband wasn't even sick. He got Lyme's disease recently, but when he changed over to my lifestyle, he wasn't even sick, but he saw my energy. He saw that my skin was awesome. He saw that, I just loved life. Most of the people that are living off of sugar have a lot of issues with whether it be anxiety. Sugar causes anxiety. It causes depression. It causes moodiness. I see it in kids. I see it in adults. I see it in the elderly. So no matter if you think that you don't need to change yet, you're just living in denial.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. Yeah. Yeah. It's good connection with the
I wanted to say too, like you can be thin and have type 2, like have insulin resistance. It's not how many fat cells you have, it's how stuffed they are. And so I work with a huge Asian community, and it's called the Asian paradox, where they're thin, but they're the leading growing population of type 2 diabetes. Why is that?
Wow.
Because they don't have a lot of fat cells, but they're stuffed and they're eating way too much white rice. And now we're introducing a lot of American foods and the sugar and all of that. So they're having a lot of issues. They might look fine with, with their clothes on, but if you dive into their cells, they are very unhealthy.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Yeah, with all the people eating all the white rice, all the Asians. Yeah, so that's good. You're working on that demographic.
Yep.
Some people say sugar is kind of maybe a gateway drug to other addicting drugs. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And, some people just have a very addictive personality where it needs to be all or nothing. And, when you introduce that sugar, it kind of becomes that all or nothing. I don't know a lot of people that can just have one cookie. They kind of have one too many cookies. That's the problem. And the ice cream is no longer a little scoop anymore. It's like 3 scoops, like you said.
Yeah.
It just gets to be way too much. And it just needs to be like, get rid of it. Here, have this instead. It's very satisfying, and you don't usually overeat something like, a keto ice cream because it's very filling.
Yeah.
My mom, whenever I make her my flourless chocolate torte, she's like, "Oh, this is so rich." Like, do you know what I do? Do you know what my job is? It's supposed to be decadent and rich and filling, So you stop.
Yeah.
And you do stop because you're not playing with those brain waves, the dopamine and serotonin, all of those things aren't going cuckoo cuckoo. And so you can say, stop when you're full, when your belly's full,
Yeah. So we have a lot of work we can do in the world. How do people kind of bring this to other people besides, we talked about kind of showing by example, how much your energy increases and you feel better and clearer mind, but are there anything else people could do to kind of help share this knowledge?
Like sharing messages, like, something simple, like all my YouTube videos, be like, hey, check out this, healthy, like I made Kringle, Kringle, like the Danishes.
Yeah.
In Wisconsin, we know what Kringle is.
Yes.
Right? German, right? I made a Kringle and I posted on YouTube. Share that on your Facebook and say, hey, you can have sugar, a healthy Kringle. Who knew, right? So little things like that can get into people's head. Like, hey, maybe it won't be so hard if I cut the sugar out. I can still have Kringle. I can still have ice cream. So it's kind of, social media has been a blessing in that way, showing people, hey, yeah, I can still, have things without the sugar.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. So we have a few minutes left. Is there anything else you want people to know that we haven't covered yet?
I really want people to think, like, if they think they can never change their diet. I was such a picky eater that I made my best friend's mom cry when I would come over for dinner. And I'm not kidding. I think she made pot roast or something. And Margie Guziak just started wailing and crying because I was so picky. And my palate is so different now. Like for lunch, I just had a filet mignon and a piece of halibut. Like I would have never eaten that for many, many years. And your diet will change and evolve. It has for me throughout the years. My diet last year didn't look the same. 5 years ago, it didn't look the same as it, so it will evolve, and don't be hard on yourself. Pick one thing. It doesn't have to be like when I would look at a college syllabus, I would get kind of anxious.
Yeah.
All the things I had to accomplish.
Right.
But if you take one thing at a time, and once you accomplish that goal, you pick a new one. And you just keep evolving and you become the best self that you can. And pretty soon you're just like, wow, where did this person come from? And you'll be really proud.
Yeah, that sounds like a great plan. Yeah. I think people will be able to use that and good takeaway for something they can get started on right away. And I know you are offering everybody a free gift. So let's talk about what that is.
Yes, I have a free ebook for everybody. It's called Keto Adapted. It's one of the first books that I wrote. to help raise money for our adoption. And I want to offer that to all of you for free. I put all of the mistakes I made in there, and like, just, I want everybody to really enjoy that book.
Yeah, thanks so much. Everybody will love it. So thanks for spending time with us today. It was really nice to chat with you and learn so much information from you. So lots of great information. Everybody, please check out her website and books and everything that she's talked about today. And yeah, thanks for joining us on another day of the summit.
Bye now.
Bye.